Hey YouTube, I just brought you a products that I don't believe deserve the hype video. So I'm gonna bring you a top 10 eyeshadow palette collection video. The reason I'm bringing this to you is because eyeshadow palettes are relatively very expensive. And because I just did kind of high-end things that I don't believe are worth the money, I kind of wanted to go into something that's usually a little higher end that is worth the money, and that's eyeshadow palettes. I've made a top 10 of the eyeshadow palettes I own. There are so many out there that I do not own, that I want to own, that I probably will in the future because I don't need any more eyeshadow palettes, and you guys know that. But I just wanted to make one about my top 10. Personally, they're probably all neutral palettes, don't kill me. The irony of this video is that I have no eyeshadow on. I'm just going for a light makeup look because it's toasty. It's summer. Just want to be light and fresh. Bear with me. I usually have 20 pounds of eyeshadow on, but not today. We're gonna do an eyeshadow palette video with a fresh face. So stay tuned for my top 10 eyeshadow palettes. First and foremost is an oldie but a goodie, and it is the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. Yes, mine is beat to hell. This was the first like matte kind of like mainstream palette that came out. Yes, I have hit pan on 3 of the colors because I love it. This is just such a good travel companion to the other Naked palettes. It's a little more warm tone than the other one, but this has been my tried and true for so long. It's just very special to me. I have so many memories with this, and I remember being so excited when it was coming out because like fully matte eyeshadow palettes weren't really a thing. And I know there is a shimmer in here, but like this was like gonna be the companion to the Naked one, and it was just a big deal. And I have loved it ever since. I'm about to throw you back to an OG. Yes, the Too Faced Natural Eye Palette. This is such a good palette that it still exists in a metal tin, but with 3 different eyeshadows. I have the ginormous one. This was one of my first ever eyeshadow palettes. This color changed my life. It is the most beautiful champagne highlight color. It's in the color Silk Teddy. I have such a huge dent in it. This eyeshadow palette was my go-to end all, and they took Nude Beach out of the current one because it's just like a super glitter bomb that nobody really liked or used. It was super like fallout-y. So this is a palette that I adore that's been improved upon. And these aren't even that expensive. They're like $36, and I've loved this palette for so long, and I'm just very nostalgic for it. It's definitely an awesome, awesome palette, and it gives you such a beautiful, subtle makeup look. Love it. Let's just get this out of the way. If this wasn't in the video, who would I be? My original Naked palette. Yup, look at it. I actually went over it in marker because the Naked had completely come off. My mirror is completely out of it, but this is what it looks like. This is the OG. This is what started the eyeshadow palette craze. I remember getting this, I think I was a senior in high school. I was just so excited when I saw it was coming out because I was just starting to get into like Urban Decay and all that kind of stuff and expensive makeup. When I saw this was coming out, I was just so pumped, and it's lived up ever since. It made me fall in love with the eyeshadow Sin. That's always been one of my favorites. Sidecar, Half Baked. It's all the classics. Every look you put with this is beautiful. I'm never disappointed with this. On days when I'm in a rush and I want to do eyeshadow, I'll always pull this out because it's just a tried and true, fast. Every look is perfect. Awesome, awesome eyeshadow palette. Couldn't not be in this video, okay? A very recent purchase of mine, and I can't believe I'm already putting in here, but I'm putting it in for me personally because I love the quality and the blendability of these shadows, but it taught me a lot about myself, I guess, because these shadows are so different from anything I used to use on myself. And I really started experimenting with it and loving it, and it brought me out of my shell. That is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. Now, I know there are warm-toned eyeshadow palettes out there, but this one is just so many pinks, which I would never have thought to put like hot pinks and pure reds and oranges on my eye. I've done like brownie reds and brownie oranges, but this like really makes you jump out of the box. And I'm really thankful for that. I love the blendability of these. Everything looks great together. It's a subtle yet really statement-making look, every single thing that this can give you. It's very romantic, yet very in your face and bold. And how does that make any sense? I don't know, that's just what this palette brings. It doesn't make any sense. How can something look so subtle and romantic but yet so va-va-boom? That's what the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette gives you. Such good colors. I love putting red ochre in my crease, and I would never usually put a dark color like that in my crease. If you go back to my recent Ulta haul and my recent ColourPop haul, I used this palette, and I used it and you can see the look I got, but the shadows are just so different, and everything about it is just so different that I love it. On the train of something that brought me out of my shell and something I thought I could never use, but I absolutely adored, it's the Naked 3. The rose gold eyeshadow that started the trend that shook the world. Rose gold became the end-all be-all of beings when this came out, and everybody was so pumped, and it was just, it was the storm that took the makeup industry at the time, and it was the rose gold look. Super pinky. I thought this was super non-complimenting to me, and it just made my blue eyes pop. And to this day, I love every look I make with this eyeshadow palette. It makes the most romantic. Not va va voom, really, like the Anastasia Modern Renaissance. This makes the soft romantic look that is like date night, beautiful, elegant. This just screams elegant and beauty to me. I love every look I get from this. It's just so beautiful. And that is why this is one of my favorites. A recent one is the Tartelette in Bloom. And why is that? I just never get a bad look out of this. I got this recently from my best friend. Look at how pretty it is. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I do. Very, very warm toned, which I guess is what I'm starting to lean toward. I used to only wear cool tone shadows, like the Naked 2 was my favorite for a while, and now I lean away from it. But every look I get with this is just looks great. I never sit down and I'm like, oh my God, I have to redo this. You know how sometimes you like get that look and you're like, let me reblend this here and let me, no, I put my eyeliner on and I'm good to go and everything looks great, and it's just such a pretty eyeshadow palette. And it's a recent addition to my collection, but like even just for this color right here, sorry I'm blinding you, but stunning, like stunning. And it's mostly matte, so it's very complimentary. This was in my favorites for the entirety of 2015. It's the Too Faced Semi-Sweet palette. This is such a perfect mix of cool and warms, and for the Anastasia Beverly Hills, this was the one that made me jump into warms, that made me experiment, the first one. So that's why I love it so much. I love the first one, I love the peach, but this one really brought me out of my shell. And see, these colors here are so cool toned, but then there's colors that are so warm toned. It's a perfect mix. You can do cool, you can do warm, it's just beautiful, and it's just another palette that holds a very special place in my heart. I recently panned the Lorac palettes, but one that I won't pan is the Lorac Gold. I love the other unzipped, but if just for one color, this has to be a pressed pigment. I love this eyeshadow so much. And I know you're like, Meg, I can't believe you're putting this in for one eyeshadow. Some of the other ones can be a little bit chalky, but they are really pretty. Like, they're very highlighty. This color alone, this color Unleashed, has to be one of my favorite eyeshadows of all time. It's just, like I said, it has to be a pressed pigment or something. Oh my God. It's just, it's liquid metal. Liquid metal gold. And that is really what put this on the map for me. I don't really like this unpredictable color, but everything else in here goes pretty well and I really like it. Another one of my staples that I've always adored is my Stila Spirit. Now I love the In the Lights palette, but what I like about this is it also contains Kitten, contains a nice like goldy color, an even golder one there, but it has like wine colors and warm colors, but also cool colors. It's a warm and cool palette, but it reminds me of fall. It's a very fall-y palette. I love using this in the fall and for the holiday season. It's so pretty. Like, this wine color is so beautiful, especially with Kitten, which is like my favorite eyeshadow ever by Stila, and I love the rose gold packaging, and this just comes with me on like every trip because it's just such a fast, quick get ready, and I love using this on brides. It's a great palette for that. My last palette is something that I didn't think I would love as much as I do, but it is just such a stays out on my desk staple. It's the Kat Von D Shade and Light eyeshadow palette. I didn't think anything of this, but this is just such a great companion palette for every palette I own. If I'm going for a cool look with like, or even if I want to use my individual ColourPop shadows, I will use this to make a look with it, dab the ColourPop on. It's an awesome look. And if I want to use my ColourPop eyeshadows, I only have like metallic ones, and this is a great pair for them. If I want to do a warm look, I can use this quad. If I want to do like a classic smoky, I can use that quad. And then like the cool toned regular browns, neutrals right there. It's just, I know I just keep saying the same thing about every palette, but this is such a great palette. I just love that it made every palette accessible. Vice palettes, electric palette, every single palette I own now is accessible to me because I can just pull this out and create a great look that accompanies every other palette. So I don't have to keep it like in my drawer and be like, you know what, I don't want to use the Vice palette today because I can't get a full look out of a Vice palette. I just pull this out as a companion. I can use any eyeshadow I want. And plus, if I just want a matte look, this is perfect and they blend beautifully. It's just a win-win for every situation when it comes to my collection and my eyeshadow. Guys, I hope this was a helpful video. That is my top 10 favorite eyeshadows. I know they're all neutrals. I'm trying to like really branch out there. Give me some time. I'll do this video again in the future after I've experimented with probably more palettes. Thanks for so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Have an awesome life. Bye! Sorry for my dark eyebrows. I haven't put an eyebrow pencil to match my hair yet, so I'm just struggling. Let me struggle.